Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And so I have a little bit of a process video here today. I really needed to make a journal. And so I knew I needed to make a journal. I decided to turn on the camera and see if I can record me putting it together. And so what I have right now on my desk is just a pile of papers. I did this beforehand and I sat on my floor and I rummaged through all the papers that I already had in my stash, and I just pulled out papers that I tried to mix and match. And so there is a little color scheme going on here. And so I'm creating my journal that will pretty much take me to the through to the rest of the year. I finished my summer stories journal, like my August journal. I actually finished it in mid-October. And so as I am filming this, it is November 14th. So it's been about a good month or so. It's been about like 3 weeks since I finished that journal and when I am making this journal. And so during that time, I did not have a journal that I was journaling in. If I needed to like brain dump or like just needed to get stuff out, I've been using my paper tests designs planner that I've been using as my soulscape journal. And so that I usually just do long form journaling, but like the more memory keeping type, like junk journal, creative journal, art journal thing, I haven't been doing for a while. But I've been meaning to make a new journal for a very long time. Within those, I think it was about 3 weeks. I just never took the time to do it. Work has been insane. I've just been focusing on that and trying to get through the ending of the year because I work for a for-profit company that sells music plugins and very popular music plugin. And so the website is an e-commerce site. So of course we have the end of the year sales, we have Black Friday, we have all these things. And so it ends up getting really crazy at this time of the year. So I just haven't had time. So I had time and I'm going to a journaling class tomorrow. So I needed a journal to journal in. So I decided to make this. And so I pretty much just am using whatever I have in my stash. I went through all my papers and whatever I had, I just pulled and try to make a cohesive looking kit out of it. And so those are all the papers that you see here. I am just going through them all and cutting them down to size. I am making one of my lovely journals. Those are my little A6, like sort of junk everyday sort of journals. These are the ones that I usually make a really pretty fabric cover for, and I love the A6 size. Like I think that is my signature size for these lovely journals because all of them have been A6. They're cute little pocket sized, and I just really love journaling in this way in an A6. I don't know, it's just my comfort size. You know how everyone has like their own sizes? I think A6 is my size for this, for like long form journaling. So like my soulscape journaling, I love a B6. So I'm like an A6, B6 girly. Like I love both of those. And I think it's because they're both kind of the same like aspect ratio almost. But yeah, I love my A6 for like a little pocket journal, and I love my B6 for more of a long form journaling. But yeah, I just wanted to get back into these little A6 journals because they were my absolute favorite. And I think next year I'm going to just be exclusively in an A6. But you saw here that I just kind of went through all my pages and I cut them down to size. And now I'm just like sorting them. So I'm making a journal that has 2 signatures. And so I need 2 separate piles of like papers. And I try to evenly distribute like the more decorative, colorful papers with the more neutral like book pages, and so that each signature has a nice amount of each, like a nice blend. And then once I have the 2 piles, I'd sort of kind of split them up between like writing pages and more decorative pages. And the writing pages that I'm using are, I pulled apart a Cocoa Daisy insert and I'm using some of those pages as writing pages. And then I usually buy like reams of B5 paper, either the Kikuyo paper, or I find that the Muji, the high-end paper from Muji, it writes beautifully, like with fountain pen. The Kikuyo is a little better, but just I think it's the high end or the high quality. I forgot what it's called at Muji. But yeah, I get reams of those, like the ones that you would put in the binders, and I just cut them down to size and I use those as my like writing space. I love grid paper. I also use a lot of like school type grid paper. I buy the B6 notebooks from Daiso because they're so cheap and I just use them. And the grid sometimes comes in like a green color or a blue color and I just love them. It's just very, it's like that subtle vintage, like retro looking, and I love a grid paper. And I find that the Daiso paper writes really well too, like takes not watercolor, takes fountain pen really well as well. I guess any paper from Japan will take the fountain pens really well. I mean, there's some paper that are more superior than others, of course, but for like just budget friendly type of paper, I wholeheartedly recommend the Muji paper. I think it writes fairly decent. The Kikuyo paper is definitely better, but I think I bought my Kikuyo paper from Japan's, I want to say. But yeah, I think the Muji paper is really good for like what it is, like what you pay for and everything. And so, yeah, so I just kind of, you saw me really quickly here, just kind of put my signatures together. And of course, I try to distribute the pages evenly. So I have some writing space and then some decorative and then some book and et cetera, et cetera. And I try to make sure that the sides all kind of like complement each other. I was just cutting down like some of the paper because some of these pages weren't exactly A6. So the true A6 pages are the ones that I pulled from the Cocoa Daisy insert. Those are true A6 and everything else is not. It's either bigger or smaller than that. And so I do have a little bit of overhang on the tops and the bottom of my journal. I think the cover that I end up making compensates for that, you know, and so you can't really tell, but there is definitely some overhang. And so I'm trying my hardest here, if you can see, to sort of line up my pages because I knew that there was going to be overhang on the top and the bottom, but I kind of wanted all of the pages to be centered within the signature. And so I go back and forth with this like for a while, just trying to make sure that everything is sort of like even in the signature. And once I get them even, I just kind of clip them with these ginormous binder clips. But now I'm kind of looking through, not kind of looking through, I am looking through some fabric. And most of these fabric pieces, they're 12 by 12 pieces. And I got them in like in a little bundle. I think they're from two different bundles, but I got them from bundles that I bought at this craft store in Tokyo. I forget what the craft store is called. Oh my God, I just had the name and it just, whatever. It just went poof. It's this store. It's like, I think it's like 6 floors and each floor is like a different type of craft. And I found these in their like sewing section and they were just little bundles of 12 by 12 pieces of fabric, which I thought were perfect for me because I tend to use fabric on a smaller scale in journals. And so I bought like a couple of bundles and the bundles came with an assortment of fabric pieces. And so I'm just going through them and trying to figure out which one I want for my cover for my journal. And right now I'm just wrapping it around a previous A6 journal just to see how it would look. And I'm pretty much eliminating them. I'm looking at them, seeing how they'll match and eliminating. And that kind of peachy, like blush pink fabric, that is antique linen that I have that I know that I want to be the inside cover. And so I'm just kind of looking to see how all the fabrics look against that. And then of course I want them to match the signatures. So the two that I kind of were debating were these two here that I keep going back and forth with because they both had the colors of the colors that are in the signatures that I made. And I do that intentionally. Like for all my journals, like whatever colors are in the cover are the colors that are represented within the pages of my journal. And usually that dictates the color scheme of the entire journal. So I usually end up using ephemera. I use washi tape and like watercolor paints and stuff like that that have those colors in them. And usually that dictates which fountain pens I use as well. because I like everything to match. Even though these are like my little freeform journals and I get to do a lot of things in them, I need everything to match. And so I am testing out these two because I was dead set on this white fabric with these bright floral clusters. But then when I saw this other one that kind of looks like antique wallpaper, I was just like, oh my God, I love the brown, and I'm not really a brown person, but I loved the brown for November. Like, we're in November and I'm just like, it's so pretty. It's so like, autumn-ish, and I know we're going into winter, but it's still autumn here, but you still have that floral cluster that kind of looks very festive and Christmassy and stuff like that. And so I ended up going with that one because it was so out of my I guess like out of my element. And you saw here really quickly that I have like a cover. What I ended up doing is I basically make a pillow sack almost, and then I inside out the fabric to have the actual pillow sack form. I basically sew the two pieces of fabric face to face in like a little pillow sack, and then I reverse it so that the seams are really pretty. And then I just take a piece of cardstock and like cut it to size so it can fit inside the pillowcase. And then I stitch up the end that's open, really. I just test out my signatures, making sure that I'm folding the cover the proper length and giving it room so that I know where I need to cut off fabric and stitch up. So you'll see here that I'm ripping up some of that cardstock because it's a little too long for the length of the cover that I actually need. And I need space to sew the edge of the cover. And what I usually do, I don't really clip the end of the fabric. I just kind of fold it in on itself so that I also have a really nice edge there. And so I off camera went and did that. And now I'm just again trying to refit my signatures into it and like straightening them out because I took them off the binder clips and everything got all loosey-goosey. And so I meticulously go in and try to straighten everything. And then I think eventually I switch out the clips because these binder clips are like ginormous. I usually use them when I'm art journaling. And I switch them out for like regular paper clips because that helps me keep the signatures together, but they're not so cumbersome. And I do that so that I can stitch the signatures into my cover. And for the stitching, I have like an assortment of cotton, waxed cotton, linen, thread. And I think I get mine off of Etsy. I'll see if I can find a link, but I don't remember. I've had this thread for a while. And basically I am just making 3 holes. I like the simple 3 pamphlet hole stitch. And so it's just 3 holes and I'm not even measuring anything. I literally eyeball everything. So like my stitching is never even. If you look at the covers of my journals, they're so lopsided and wonky and it's just not even. I don't even. No pun intended. I don't even just think about that. I just loosey-goosey and just go and do it because I hate binding. It's like my least favorite part of the process. And so the quicker I can get the signatures into the cover, the better for me. And so I was debating either the green thread or the pink one, and I decided to go with the pink one because I never use that pink one, and I have that dark pink, that beautiful like hot pink in the florals of the fabric, and I'm just like, yes, let's just go with the pink one. And so I'm starting from the inside. I was debating if I wanted to start from the outside. I'm like, no, I'm going to start from the inside because I want the little loosey threads so that I can make little beaded charms on the bottom because I love doing that. And I am eyeballing. I'm completely eyeballing the stitch here. And this is where you see where I'm changing out the clips because those clips are ginormous and they were just in my way. And at some point my video cuts off and I come back and show you the completed journal. And I flip that through for you. So I will let me come back with that and show you how the journal turned out. Okay, so I'm back and I'm live real time, and I just kind of wanted to show you the finished journal. So I know you saw sort of kind of how I put the papers together, and then I was deciding on the fabric, and then at some point the video cut out. Well, I just kind of went bind my journal, and then I kind of went ham. I had all this like extra pieces of fabric and stuff, and so I took out some scraps too. And so I went and like created tabs, like added tabs in and little ruffles and stuff. I normally don't do that for these little lovely journals. I think the one or two times that I did it, I know the first time that I did it for like a little journal like this was for my Boston travel journal. I kind of added the ruffles and stuff like that. But for these like everyday, I call them my lovely journals since they're usually A6 and it's just fabric and 2 inserts. And I usually use them. It takes me about 2 months to fill these little ones because I don't journal every day. So usually it's like one signature for 1 month and then the other signature for the other month. So I kind of wanted to, like I said before, wanted to make a journal. Well, I needed a journal for November. I finished my last journal like mid-October, and then I didn't really make another journal right away. And so now it's already mid-November. It's already November 14th as I'm making this. And so I kind of wanted to, I'm going to go in and backfill like things because I have like a whole I have like a stack of ephemera from like things that I bought and stuff like that, and I have some pictures that I want to print out, and so I'll probably go back and fill that in the beginning and kind of date that back journal, backfill. I know in the planner community is like back plan or something like that. Anyway, I might do that, but I am just like, I need a journal because I was just like, I don't have a journal, I need to make one. That's why I just came on and randomly made one, and I decided just to turn on the camera and you see my process. But of course my process got cut off. But yes, I kind of went ham and just added little tidbits. So I just kind of wanted to show you the finished journal before I start like filling it up. And so this is the fabric you saw that I kind of went with, and I'm glad I did because this is supposed to be, I'm trying to find the middle. I'm going to keep this for November and December, and usually how I like to, I guess, create my journals, and I like to theme them, and generally I like to keep it themed towards the season. Usually my December journals are that cover. Let me show you. They're usually like a blue and of course this is one that I've had made for like ages, but I have a specific, like I said before, printables. I have printables from Nazi, Amity Balloon printables that I want to use for this, but I currently don't have a printer, so I have to work with what I have. And like, I didn't want to just put any random inserts in here because I had a vision for this, and so that's why I just decided to make a new journal. But this was supposed to be my end of the year journal. I need to buy a printer. But yeah, they're usually like blue, you know, because we're in winter time, and it's like they're usually this time of year. My journals are usually this color scheme. I kind of want something different. I really liked my bright journal that I kept in August, and so I picked out all these papers, and these are just papers that I had in my stash, and I'm just like, yeah, let's just use these up. I was kind of thinking like autumn, but like bright and fun. I kind of wanted to go with the yellow, and I don't really use yellow, and so yeah. This fabric though, like I said, the fabrics that I had chosen and that I was debating over were ones that I bought in Japan. And this is so pretty, and I normally wouldn't like gravitate towards like brown or anything, but I think for November, it's like a good color. I don't know why I associate brown with November, like October, November are very brown, and then once you hit December and January, you get really blue, and then February is all like red and pink, and then March is usually like pinks and greens and like spring colors, and then in April is also spring colors, and then May you get into like the brighter colors. I don't know. I associate the months like that. So I picked this one, and I went with a pink stitch there, and it's just like a really, really simple 3-hole stitch that I do. It's not anything groundbreaking or anything like that, and I do leave my tails really long so that I can come in and add some charms. And so the charms that charms and beads. So I put this little bronze dove charm, and then these are all just beads, and I try to match the beads with the colors of the cover. This is what Paige Evans charm from, I don't even know what collection. way back when. But yeah, I try to match the beads and like the charms to the covers so that they match. And then of course I match all of my pages to the covers. And so all these colors that you see in the journal pages are reflected in the cover, and that is how I keep everything consistent. I feel like I have multiple videos on my channel where I talk about color consistency. I liked themed journals. Like my journals, they have to be either themed, like for something specific. So like usually my travel journals are themed that way, depending where I'm going, but they all have a color scheme. And I try to stick to that color scheme on the cover, on the pages, on the beads that I use, like everything. I just need those colors to repeat. These journals, these are my little lovely journals, aka my everyday journals. I call them lovely journals because Ariel Lovely, and they're tiny little cute journals. These are my like an everyday journal. I kind of dump everything in here. So they tend to be very junky, but not too junky, because I like my things to like match and still be pretty. But this is my, I guess, my process of being loose and free and like messy and stuff like that, even though it's quite neat. If you know like any of my stuff, like especially my art journaling from like a couple of years ago and just my journals from a couple of years ago, they're very neat and they're very put together and they're very like matchy and all the things. And these, when I started doing these in, I think 2022, I think. So 2 years ago, I kind of just, I was going through a thing and I really just didn't have it in me to like be proper. And so they end up a little junky. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let me flip through while I ramble. And so yeah, I just kind of fill them up with all kinds of stuff now. And I do a lot of writing in these and I just stick stuff down. I sometimes do like mixed media in them. Generally, it's more of just sticking and gluing and cutting and writing in them, even though I try my hardest to do art journaling in them, because I have all these art supplies that I just need to use. So yeah, when I usually have an urge, I'll kind of swatch colors. That's kind of the extent of it. This, I didn't realize that it was 2 pages that were together. So I put them in and they all ended up here. So I just ended up ripping this. So now I have 2 book pages back to back, which I normally wouldn't do that, but that is how that turned out. It's fine. I can cover it up. So a lot of the pages that, I don't think I come to it yet, but some of the pages, like if I don't like a certain thing, I will just cover up a side like this. I won't leave it like this. I'll probably put some writing paper there so they can do some writing. But this is a beautiful handmade paper. It's a Lokta paper. I believe it's made in Nepal. So this is what I mean. I went back in and like, these were like scraps from a different project that I tore off from like a scrapbooking project that I was going to get rid of. And I just kind of just glued and stitched all these little bits in. Just to have, this is some trim that I got in Japan as well, just to have more texture and tabs. I normally never do this for one of these journals, but I figured I had all these scraps and all these things. This was just floating around on my desk, so I'm like, yeah, that needs to go in here. And I kind of got a little carried away, but it's fine. It gives it character. So like a page like this is like printed on this wallpaper sample. I will just cover this up with something. Like a picture, pattern paper, I can paint over it, but yeah, that's not going to stay like that. And that's what I really like about these journals. There really is no rules with them. I just do whatever I want. I stick and glue things in. I print pictures. I journal a lot in these. These have become heavily journaled in, which is why I tore apart one of these Cocoa Daisy inserts. I kind of bought a couple of them. I mean, unfortunately, they don't make the A6 ones anymore, but I was able to snag 2 A6s from the Quiet Meadow collection, which I really love. And I just took them apart so I can use the paper, because my last 2 journals were made with the Cocoa Daisy paper, and that paper is gorgeous. It's glorious to write on, especially with my fountain pens, and they're pretty. And I was just like, I love this paper. So I've been buying the little mini ones. I think they're like passport TN size. They're small. They're not A6, but they fit in a little A6 journal, but I had these A6, and I think I'll probably just look in their warehouse sale on Etsy and see if they have any more A6s, but they don't really make A6 anymore. So, but anytime I like a design, I'll just grab one. Like sometimes I grab the B6s, or I can also grab like a standard and just cut it down and it'll be A6. But yeah, I just love the paper. I love writing on it. And I realized that in these little journals, I really prefer writing with my fountain pens. And so I am growing a collection of TWSBIs. And yeah, I kind of want to use them, you know. I have some Sailor pens too that I haven't used, and I just really need to use them. But I need to use paper that's fountain pen friendly, because there's a difference. This handmade paper I made into a pocket, so I did go in and stitch it. Normally I don't do that either, but that's kind of how I folded that paper. I love this signature because I left this beautiful Daphne's Diary page as is in the center, and I just wanted to see it. That's all. That's why I left it there. I love how it just matches. And you know, you saw my process, but I meticulously do that. I make sure that the pages, as I'm putting the books together, that both sides sort of complement each other. And if they don't, when I'm journaling, I make them complement each other. But yeah, added this little thing there, another pocket. I added this tab. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to finish this video. I made a nice little ruffle here with the tab, with the scraps from the cover. But I wanted to finish this video with just a look through of the completed journal before I start filling it up. And I'm hoping, if time allows, that I can film some videos of me actually working in it. I haven't done a journal with me like that in such a long time. My Junk Journal July video does not count. Just like, you know, just me sitting, journaling, and filming the process. I haven't done it in ages, and I would love to do it. But yeah, so this is my journal. I'm actually going to put these guys back on because this kind of helps it keep like together, because it needs to be pressed down, weighed down. But that is my journal for the rest of the year. It's so pretty. And yeah, just kind of wanted to take you on this journey. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Again, leave me any questions that you want in the comment section down below. And yeah, here's to a new journal. I'm excited to fill it up, and I'm excited, hopefully. Can't make any promises because I do that all the time and then just don't do them, but I really would want to like start doing journal with me again. Oh my god, you have no idea how I want to. I just need to find the time. Like, life has been crazy. But yes, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, friends.